What's the only thing better than getting the commitment from your biggest recruit of the summer? Beating the Texas Longhorns to get the commitment of your biggest recruit of the summer.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello there, Bears fans. Welcome to a breaking news edition of Locked On Baylor. I'm your host, Stuart of ESPN Central Texas. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network where you get your team every day. It has become official. Jamarion Carlton, the four-star defensive lineman from Temple High, has made his commitment to the Baylor Bears. Texas, LSU, see you later. Jamarion Carlton is a Baylor Bear. What? Breaking news. Oh, big breaking news. Texas actually never wanted him, and Baylor's completely irrelevant, and something about Art Briles. That's what's coming across for Locked On Longhorns. Yeah, 247 Longhorn. Yep, they're all saying that. Jamarion Carlton just picked Baylor over Texas and LSU. How does that happen? How does that happen, the rest of the college football world says? Well, if you've been keeping up with Locked On Baylor, you have kind of an idea, and Jamarion Carlton made it pretty clear as well. He said, they all showed me love and all made me feel like I was the main priority, Carlton said, of the Bears contingent of coaches and front office personnel, according to Rivals. I mean, how many times have we heard that before? This staff makes the kids feel like a priority. They don't sweep in at the last second and tell them how much money you're going to make when you come here. They see them early in the development process. That is something that has been an absolute trademark from Keenan Hall since day one, since he got on board, and is clearly the case across Baylor's entire recruiting staff. They find these kids early, and they sell them on a dream. Sometimes that doesn't work. In this case, it does. Carlton said that coaching staff there and what they're building, it's nice down there. Whole staff made me feel like I was a priority, and that getting me there was the main thing. And that was big regardless. It's home, and it feels like home. How about that? Temple, of course, not that far away from Waco. But when you're battling with the Texas Longhorns, it's about as far away from Waco as it is to Austin. So you're battling a hometown team either way. That's a battle that, to conventional college football minds, Baylor should lose. And they didn't. And again, I made the joke about it. It didn't actually come across my timeline from Locked On Longhorns, although they're kind of stressed out too. Pray for Locked On Longhorns. But there will be Texas fans in the comments saying, oh, we didn't want him anyway. You guys are getting hyped over a four-star. Yes, we are. We're getting hyped over a top 50 recruit in the country. Oh, you getting man over a five-star? Yeah. Top 50 recruit in the entire country. And he actually loves the way that Dave Aranda coaches and the style. I love that. And as I said on yesterday's show, which if you haven't seen it, check out that segment. I dropped it on Wednesday night when Baylor was crystal balled to get Jamarion Carlton. What he does is fills a big need that Baylor hasn't had in a couple of years. Return of the Jack. Once again, return of the Jack. Top of the world. The Jack position, man. That is a Dave Aranda specialty. And when he first came here in 2020 and 2021, both years Baylor had great defenses. 2020, obviously the team stunk, but their defense was fantastic. They had great production from the Jack position. And they haven't had that the last couple of years, man. Like Garmin Randolph lacked Jack. Sorry, Jamarion Carlton's not going to do that. There's a reason why he's one of the most sought after recruits in all of America. 57 tackles, 11 TFLs, 5 sacks, and a forced fumble. For a Temple Wildcats team in 6A that, not for nothing, they went from pretty horrible in 2023 to a playoff team in 2024, thanks in large part to Jamarion Carlton being an absolute game wrecker on the defensive side of the ball. That's what Baylor's getting, man, a game wrecker. When was the last time they had one of those, man? Terrell Bernard, Jalen Petrie, you were lucky enough to have both of them on the same team. That was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. I don't even know if they have one on this year's team. They have good defensive players, don't get me wrong. Siaki Ika, who last played in 2022, could kind of wreck a running game, but they haven't had a game wrecker. No way, man. No way. And the fact that this group consistently is recruiting the defensive side of the ball really well. We pay attention mostly to the offensive side, but that defensive side has been steady growth over the last 2-3 recruiting windows here. And that's something obviously Baylor needs to get better at in the short term, but you're seeing a vision for the long term. And you're also seeing a vision on offense for the long term. Jamarion Carlton becomes the biggest recruit in this 2026 class, but he overtakes Quinn Murphy in that, a quarterback. So you're doing pretty well at pretty much the two most important positions in football. However you slice it, the top 3 most important positions, when you look at who is drafted number 1 overall and how NFL teams build their team, it's quarterback, it's left tackle, it's defensive end pass rusher. I don't know what the left tackle thing is looking like in the class of 2026. I'll be totally honest with you guys. But you have gotten bona fide studs at quarterback and pass rush. That is so huge, man. That is so huge. That is foundational for your team going forward. And again, I'm not saying if Dave Aranda has a bad year this year and they don't make the most out of this team, his job will be on the line. But what he sold Mac Rhodes on going into the 2024 season is we're going to become much better and much more competitive on the recruiting trail. And damned if the dude hasn't done that. Even for some of you Dave Aranda haters, some of you who think he should still be fired, and I get your justification, by the way. I don't think he should be fired at this point. I was calling for his job in 2023, and I understand your justification now. Oh, one good stretch, and all of a sudden, I understand that. But he has delivered on this big time, man. And in the last 2 weeks, they've gone from barely in the top 60 to now in the top 40 in the recruiting rankings in all of America. And we're just getting started here. We're just entering. We get the Jordan Holmes commitment, or Jordan Clay commitment is tomorrow. I don't know that they're going to get him. It's not as sure a thing as this Jamarion Carlton thing felt, but this thing could continue to skyrocket. Your two actual highest rated recruits in this class, both named Jamarion. How about that? Jamarion Carlton, Jamarion Vincent, London Smith, Jordan Deck, Davion Peters, Quinn Murphy, all these 4-star guys, man, lining up to come down to Baylor, and they're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing every time. They're saying, these coaches were on me early. They were the first, they were my first Power 4 offer. They were the first big-time offer that I got that was actually paying attention to me. This, that, and the other. They were talking to me from sophomore year. Dave Aranda was going to London Smith's basketball games when he was a freshman. That's the first thing they say. The second thing they say is they're building something here. Now, again, when a kid says that, and he's choosing Baylor over Texas, over LSU, Quinn Murphy's picking them over SEC schools, that tells me that they're not the recruits that can be bought. Okay? I don't mean that in its most cynical sense. Obviously, these kids want to make some money if they can playing college football. I will never fault them for that, ever. And it's tough to fault even the kids that go in the transfer portal and leave for more money, unless they agree to be your point guard next year. I digress. But what that tells me, when this kid's saying they were on me early and he's turning down these 2 powerhouse schools in Texas and LSU, that tells me he's saying these guys swooped in. They offered me a ton of cash and a good team, by the way, both those very good programs right now, both with chances to go to the college football playoff. But he's saying, I think I can stay even closer to home. I can build something special. I can go to the playoff with this team. And they made me feel like a priority. It's a massive win for Baylor, man. I know it gets old hearing it, and at some point we're going to get past it. Hopefully. That would be a great thing for this program. But anytime you are beating the Texas Longhorns and the LSU Fighting Tigers for a 4-star recruit. Anytime you're beating out Brian Kelly and Steve Sarkisian for a blue chip recruit, a top 50 recruit in America, that's still a massive deal. Massive. Longhorns punching air right now. Yeah, baby. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. How big a commitment is this for the Baylor Bears and the future of that defense? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are jacked up about having a new jack for the future of this Baylor defense. And of course, find us on YouTube and wherever you find your podcasts as well. About 50% of you, half and half of you that are watching are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. We're bringing you Baylor Bears news every weekday. We're the only place that gives you exclusive Baylor news every day of the work week that's not officially affiliated with the university. So get involved in that comment section, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for making it your first listen today and every day. We will see you tomorrow. Well, actually, we'll see you on Monday for your favorite show, Locked On Baylor.